Welcome to Master the Game. I'm Juice, and today is day 12 of RPG a Day, and today's word or prompt is deep. So let's get into the deep end. Yeah, that was a bad one. Let's just get started. So recently we added a couple new Patreon tiers for people that want more one-on-one consulting in their games, or they just want to talk about a variety of things with me. It'll give them at least an hour talking with me about whatever they want to. We also added a tier where you can play in a campaign run by me. It'll be a little bit tailored around your character. We'll go over what you want in the campaign, whether you want me to run a module or something more homebrew. We can do that. So go on over and check that out. The link is in the description below. So the word deep means a lot of different things, and I've thought about this in a few different ways. To me, I thought about I could go into more of the deeper conversations in RPGs, or I could use this to inspire maybe a seafaring campaign discussion or something like that. So I had bought Ghosts of Saltmarsh a while back when it had came out, and was really excited to dive into doing, thought about doing a campaign centered around seafaring. But one of the issues I have is I don't have, the terrain for that, and I like to use terrain in my home games. I also, online, I don't use a lot of, I don't use any virtual tabletops. So I thought about, using a virtual tabletop for it and using like some of the different maps, with the ocean and maybe, some fun stuff with that. And there's a variety of really cool maps out there that you can use. A lot of Patreon creators who create maps. And you can also go and buy something like Incarnate, or at least, I think it's a membership fee, like $25 a year. You can use Incarnate to make your maps and stuff like that. Now, I feel like having a map for something like this would be really good, and being able to have like shipwrecks and, incorporating stuff like that into it would be also really cool. So I've never run a lot of encounters on the ocean. I have had one campaign where the player characters had a boat and they were traveling around a continent to get to different places really quickly. But I don't think I ever had a single encounter on the ship. And we did it all theater of the mind, and that worked perfectly fine, and that was really cool. Another one of the issues I have is I just don't know a lot about ships in general. So the terminology I was off on, and it's funny because there's a lot of people out there who do know a lot, and they kind of expect the DM to know a lot. So you kind of have to do your homework on that. There's so many like really cool monsters that the D&D has in the ocean. Things like a Kraken, a dragon turtle. They have the merfolk and what are they called? They have the Sahagwin. I can't even say it right, but these things are really cool too. Again, a variety of awesome monsters in the water. Whether you just take real world things like orcas that would mess people up, or you want to use something like a Sahagwin, you can do that. Not to mention, being out at sea, you could also throw flying creatures at them and, things like that. Now, there's a lot of video games you could take inspiration from as well. Games like Final Fantasy where you travel under the water sometimes. Games like The Legend of Zelda where they had like a water temple and you can do like puzzles and stuff underwater and have to walk along the bottom of the water to go do stuff, stuff like that. So, there's a lot of adventures that you can tell in the ocean or sea or the lake or river that I don't think DMs use enough. I recently used a Froghemoth in a river battle that I had in my Tyranny of Dragons campaign, and that was pretty cool. So one day when I get a 3D printer, I'm definitely going to do some ships and stuff like that for my home games, and I'm really going to entertain the idea of incorporating at least once or twice into almost every campaign some sort of water adventure or scene, because I think it can add a lot to the game. And so I'm going to look for that, ways to do that in future games. But with that, What do you guys think of ocean encounters? Have you used them in fun, creative ways? Have you played, Ghosts of Saltmarsh or some other adventure like that? I'd love to hear your comments below. This was Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on.